Welcome, Jackie.
Hello, thank you.
How do we find you today? Are you well?
I am well, yeah, definitely. Ready to get going?
Indeed. Well, I have read your bio, and I am prepared to introduce you unless one of my co-hosts would like to.
Nope.
I'll try.
Go.
Jackie is a rising engineer in Boston, MA area who is passionate about STEM education and engineering students and interactive learning. She's connected to organizations using her school's STEM Education Club and the Math of Lexington Career in STEM. And her regional workforce board's youth program committee.
Awesome, thank you so much. So before I start, I'm just gonna share my screen really quick.
Go for it.
Okay, share screen. All right, can you guys see that?
Yes, we can.
All right, this is a slightly different type of presentation from Emilio's, and I just have to say that was a great presentation. I love the questions at the end about the future. So, as Alex said, my presentation is about the importance of STEM education, and as I've observed it through my work with various companies and organizations that he listed in different STEM disciplines and in career development. So today I'll be sharing my presentation on the importance of a STEM education, 6 reasons why a STEM education and providing access to all can change the world. This is my findings from at least 3 years of observations, internships, and other work. And the diagram on the screen you see here will come up again very soon as we look at the benefits I found in my research from STEM education. But before I start, just want to go over my experience really quick. So on the screen here, we have the 4 groups that I've worked with most closely and which have shaped my research the most. So the first one is the STEM Education Club, which I co-founded in my freshman year of high school, as I'm currently a junior. So this club really develops and presents STEM lessons that are interactive at the elementary school level, and we have both online and in person, and we use YouTube and our website. Since March, I've also been involved with Career in STEM, which is a company that provides STEM career resources for teens, and it introduced me to this. So for that, I'm grateful. My most recent addition to my work is the Mass Hire Metro North Workforce Board Youth Committee, which is a very long name, but it's very helpful as it provides workforce development for youth programs in my area. And the organization that you see in the bottom right, which I've been with for the longest, is the Math Club of Lexington. I started as a student there in 4th grade, which is a very long time ago, and I've been a teaching assistant there since 9th grade. And beginning in last November, I became the co-owner with my mom after the passing of its 23-year teacher and founder. So these 4 were really the fundamental experiences that I've used to shape my research. And it's really helped me because working with young students on the teaching side of STEM has been invaluable insight for my research into what students really learn from their learning experiences. So, oh, and if you want to learn anything more about any links on my last slide to their websites, but let's get into this project. So about this project, I usually describe how I came about looking into STEM education and what my project is with this paragraph on screen. So I'll start with that. So it says, my research in STEM education began with my own interest in a future major or career in STEM. I became fascinated with the unquantifiable benefits of a STEM education and how providing access to this type of education can change the world. So the important thing that I would have you all take away from that paragraph is that I'm really interested in focusing on the unquantifiable benefits. And a quick internet search, of course, can show you all of the statistics about STEM jobs and majors, which are very important, but I'm more interested in the outcomes you can't easily measure. So let's see what those outcomes are. So this is the STEM education benefits circle, which you might recognize from the first slide. It's the outcome of my research and the 6 items that I identified. And to clarify quickly, I would say that how I define STEM education in my research is any portion of a student's kindergarten through 12th grade education that contains STEM-related classes, which ultimately provide those students with the 6 benefits you see here. So the 6 benefit categories of STEM education that I identified were skills, opportunity, exploration, innovation and understanding, applicability, and new perspectives. We can go through each and see why they're so beneficial to STEM students in the classroom and beyond, and how I identified each. So let's check it out, starting with skills. All right, first important benefit of STEM education is obviously the development of important skills. I think that it's important not only to learn the facts in STEM classes. A common example I hear is that the mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell, but also learning the learning strategies and the skills that students can use across different disciplines. So STEM skills like creative problem solving and communication can definitely be used in future academics or internships and careers that don't have to be in any STEM field. Another, even an English major or a philosopher uses skills that they learn in STEM, like evaluating data or critically reading an article, and those can be learned from exploration in STEM. The other noteworthy skills that you see in the second and the third bullet points include math, scientific analysis, teamwork, technology use, and how to deal with failure. These skills come from lessons that you learn from real-world connections and from activities that really make people think. And I believe that the last skill on the list, especially overcoming failure and mistakes, is really important to learn in STEM. So the next benefit was opportunity, and it can give opportunity to students to pursue a subfield of STEM. For example, a student could want to enter mechanical engineering, and there are ample opportunities for that student to find a well-fitting and high-paying job in that field. So this is the example that I see most online when I look up why STEM education matters or why STEM matters. And there are many statistics that show how STEM jobs offer higher wages than the median income, and that there are many positions open for qualified STEM job seekers. These are obviously important, and these are the quantifiable benefits of a STEM education, certainly helpful in the long run. But with so many of these new STEM jobs opening, there's a greater need for a STEM education that provides the unquantifiable skills, as they're necessary for any STEM or non-STEM career, or in general, really, living one's life. So my favorite part of a STEM education, or STEM in general, is exploration, because there are so many different subfields and careers that you can find and explore in STEM. I really learned this working at Career in STEM, where I learned how many different careers can suit students' interests. And not only are there a vast number of careers, but also resources in STEM. At the STEM Education Club, we found that providing students with post-lesson exploration, as we called it, which is basically non-required homework, it helps students to learn more about the lesson's topic if they were interested in it, and to advance their knowledge that they may be used for a future career. So the ability to just simply explore something that a student enjoyed in STEM, because there are so many different fields, it really helps students expand their horizons and really love STEM. So that's what I love about it. The next one is innovation and understanding. And of course, this is the Global Innovation Field Trip. So innovation is very important. And we know when it comes to fixing and solving problems, innovators are always the first ones to jump in and take on the challenge. And the mindset of improving the world around you by creatively solving problems is something that students I work with definitely take away from STEM lessons, and that's really important. So the mindset of how to solve problems and definitely jumping in and just trying your best to solve them, it's going to create the next generation of innovators and inventors, and who might even one day present here. And I specifically learned this when I was teaching a recycled art and ocean acidification lesson with some elementary school students in my area, because there was one group that we were making recycled art. You could make whatever you wanted, and they teamed up to make a water filter for clean water. And I was just so blown away by how at such a young age, the innovation and problem solving, it just shaped their whole experience, and it was very beneficial. So the understanding part of STEM here, in innovation and understanding, of course, comes from viewing the world through a different lens. And this came to me just walking around, and I noticed that everything around me was somehow connected to STEM, and I could see the innovation and the work behind each element of my world around me, and that was just mind-opening and life-changing. So STEM really provides the tools for your creative mind to just start thinking and taking action in those individual ways to improve the world around us. So that combination of understanding the world around you and then innovating to make it better can really change the world, and I'm sure it will. But where does that understanding of the world around us come from, and how do we teach that? That's the point of applicability. So in my experience teaching for the Math Club and the STEM Education Club, which I would say was the last 3 years or so, I found that the most effective way to help students connect to the real world is to just connect it to the real world. In math, that means solving a word problem or an equation that has a specific connection to maybe building a skyscraper. And in science, it means looking closely at the world around you and making observations that help solve problems. So on a lesson-by-lesson basis, you connect things to what students see around them, and that makes a great STEM lesson. And the final and arguably most important benefit of STEM education is that it provides an outlet for people of different backgrounds and perspectives to.
Luckily, she didn't say the most important part. Hey, Alex.
Yes.
You hear anything?
I do not.
No problem. We'll get her back on. We'll get her back on. Hey, Jim, this was unbelievable, the amount of information that Jacqui was presenting.
I know. It's totally germane to my day-to-day world, because I work with anthropologists and ethnographers about how people learn. And she is dead on. I was taking screenshots and sharing them with my colleague at the Pass Foundation. This girl's got it going on. Alex, how did you feel about her notion of failure? Because it's super important, right?
Yeah, it's so not necessarily surprising, but it is amazing how she can notice all of this and the world around her. And
yeah, I was talking to a young inventor just a couple of days ago, and I asked them to use 3 words to describe themselves, and they said excited, stubborn, and failure-proof. I'm like, okay, why stubborn? And what they actually meant was they were willing to work and not give up. Like, well, then use another word. And what do you mean by failure-proof? And they said, I'm not afraid of failure. So Jacqui, don't unmute yourself. We're talking about your brilliant insight about the true role of failure in applied STEM.
Yeah, sorry, my Wi-Fi cut out for some reason. I'm not sure.
Oh, we're all dealing with new technology here.
Yeah, we were just it was kind of good in a way because we got to talk about how great your presentation was.
Oh, thank you.
It was amazing when Jim asked how old you were. I mean, you have enough information to be 100 years old, but you're clearly not anywhere close to that, right, Jim? It's crazy.
Well, thank you. Yes. It's been a lot of fun collecting the research and everything.
Jacqui, I was sharing with Alex and Carmine that I've worked with a group of anthropologists, sociologists, and ethnographers. And the data you're presenting absolutely blew my mind. And the way, I mean, you have done an amazing job at dissecting the motivation for applied STEM and applying it. And I hope people watching on YouTube are absorbing that, because there was some real beautiful information embedded up in there. I hope we get the opportunity to share that with them, because that was really amazing work.
It was. That was a great presentation.
Thank you.
Jacqui, do you share that presentation with any groups anywhere or anything? Is that available for other people to utilize? I mean, that was a professional presentation. I mean, it was awesome.
No, that's actually my first time using that presentation that I made. So
Of course it was, right?
Good job. Well,
Thank
think
you.
about us the next time you present it, because it was way good enough. And the
I
next time it's
definitely will.
so much better. So much. Brava. Well, thank you, Jacqui, for joining us. And I get the great pleasure of saying goodbye to the amazing Jacqui Schlesinger.